I'm going to be talking about a theory you've never heard of, and hopefully by the end of it, you'll think, as I do, that it really is something that nobody really talks about, and yet it has changed the world and continues to change the world. It's called the Hamitic hypothesis. It's an idea that developed over hundreds of years, became very popular in the 19th century, but continues to affect parts of the world today, particularly Africa. It's the subject of a book that I've written that'll be coming out in a couple of months called The Lost White Tribe, Explorers, Scientists, and a Theory That Changed a Continent. Strangely enough, the Hamitic hypothesis, this idea that all Africans came from the descendants of Ham, that son of Noah, somehow got weirdly flipped to, no, Hamites are not all Africans. Hamites are some invasion of white people that happened in the ancient past. Maybe, in fact, human beings were once resembled something else. The racial dispersion of groups out of Asia around the world. Now you'll look, and it kind of looks like a swirly map, but just to orient you here, the middle of the map is Asia. And as you see, there are these kind of initial kind of flows outward of darker races. Now, Griffith Taylor believed that the first races of the human species were primitive, and that the later races of the species were more advanced. And like most 19th century Europeans and North Americans, when they thought about primitive and advanced, they saw it also as a racial ladder, and that primitive meant dark-skinned and advanced meant light-skinned. That all of the races of the human species emerged first in Asia, and that gradually the later, more advanced races, i.e. the white race, kind of rolled over the other races and spread itself out as it conquered and overcame and drove to the edges the darker raced peoples of the world. It also allowed Europeans and North Americans, when they looked at the great kind of legacy of African civilizations, when they looked, for example, at Great Zimbabwe or the Great Pyramids, they said, clearly black cultures couldn't have created these. These must have been the Hamites, right? Those ancient, highly advanced white invaders who were here thousands of years ago. And so this Hamitic hypothesis became a way of explaining, justifying white colonization, as well as all of this cool stuff that you find in Africa, and that was essentially taken away from Africans themselves.
Hamitic. Adjective. 1. Of or pertaining to the Hamites or to the Hamitic languages. Hamitic. Noun. 1. A group of languages spoken in Egypt and neighboring countries.
Shemai, Yasharallah, Yahweh, Allah Hayanawa, Yahweh, Achad, Shemai, Yasharallah, Yahweh, Allah Hayanawa, Yahweh, Achad.
This madness, this Hamite theory that popped up. All right, going back to this guy Sigmund, whoever the hell he is. I thought the guy was saying Sigmund Freud, but let me find it and read it to you. Okay, because this guy, as I'm talking about the scoffers, my phone is lighting up from this scoffer's dumb comments, man. But let's find what the Hamite theory is. It said Hamites. From the biblical Ham is a historical term in ethnology and linguistics for division of the Caucasian race, and the group of related languages and populations spoke according to Hamitic theory. This Hamitic race was superior or more advanced to the Negroid populations of sub-Saharan Africa. So that's why it says, but not that they were forefathers of the dark races, but not the Negroes. Because they're trying to say that Ham, Shem, Ham, Cush, Canaan put Mizraim and what's the one I'm missing? And Cush were actually Caucasians.
That's bugged.
They're brown Caucasians. Esau is bugged the fuck, but which is But hey, it's bugged out, man. That's what they're saying. I'm like, what the f? All right. But hey, but make sure that you let you know how mad the so-called white man is. He turns around and gets here in America, and he says if you have one drop of black blood, you're a nigger. But yet he want to claim 4 races that are sons of Ham. So Ham just all of a sudden don't exist no more.
Ephesians chapter 4 verse 25. Therefore, laying aside falsehood, speak truth, each one of you with his neighbor, for we are members of one another for his name's sake. Prescribe truth, we giving you what the doctor ordered. Jamal Bandy.
This book is the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. And if you come into being an Israelite, one of the resources that you're going to want to have is a Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. Want to have it. And the reason why, because it is one definition. It's a definition for Ham. Ham being one of the sons of Noah. You know, he had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Well, the definition of Ham, or should I say, what was known about Ham before was that he was said to be the ancestor of those who were dark complexion, like the Egyptians or the Africans. And so this goes because of some of the sons he had, like Egypt was from him, and so on and so forth. Well, his definition in the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary tells us that Ham is the progenitor of the dark races, but not the Negroes. It says that he's the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes, but the Egyptians, the Ethiopians, the Libyans, and Canaanites. So you read the C, we're not African, because we're called Negro, so we're not Africans. We're not like the Egyptians or the Ethiopians or anything like that. So let's ask the question, why it says not the Negro? Why not the Negro? Okay, so let's define Negro for a second. So it says around 1442, the Portuguese first arrived in southern Africa while trying to find a sea route to India. The term Negro literally means black. Was used by the Spanish and Portuguese as a simple description to refer to the Bantu peoples that they encountered. Was also used of the peoples of West Africa in old maps labeled Negro land. All right, Caucasian is a designating or characteristic of one of the traditional racial divisions of humankind, marked by fair to dark skin. I'm gonna let that stick right there for a second. I want you to think about this. The Caucasians have been known to be people who are classified from a skin color of being fair to dark. They either had straight or curly hair, and light to very dark eyes. Originating in Europe, parts of North Africa, West Asia, and India. Now this is important, y'all. Hope y'all pay attention. What is going on here? Caucasians were actually considered to be dark skinned. So when it comes to the Ham, back in the 1800s, as discoveries was done concerning the bodies of those in Egypt and so on and so forth, and all these artifacts were discovered, the civilizations were being studied and researched. People believed that Egyptians had to be Caucasian. Now I'm jumping into this Hamitic hypothesis. I hope you following through. They believed that they used to be Caucasian. Why? Because they saw their great civilizations. I mean, Ethiopia and Egypt, Canaan, and all these places had civilized people. I mean, on writings, everything else, artifacts, structures. And they said to themselves, this must have been done by people who are Caucasian descent, because they didn't see Negroes as being anyone who's intelligent enough to be able to build like this or be civilized like this. So that's interesting that was the case. And so they believed that the people in North Africa were originally Caucasian, just a dark Caucasian. And so this is why that definition says that Ham was said to be progenitor of the dark races, but not the Negro. So I guess that person would have said they were the progenitors of black races if they meant Negroes, but they meant Caucasian. It was said that the Egyptians, the Ethiopians, the Libyans, and the Canaanites were all Caucasian and not Negro. What they believed about Negroes was that they originated in the southern parts of Africa, not the northern parts. Do you find it interesting that the definition for Ham only gives northern countries of Africa and Ethiopia, which is on the Horn of Africa? Think about that for a second. Africa is a great big continent with many more countries other than those four. Yet they only named those four. Why? Those are the northern regions and on the Horn of Africa. But sub-Saharan countries were said to be inhabited by Negroes. They called them Negro land. So yeah, they always believed you were African. I'm sorry. Now, so what does that mean? This means that this definition is actually a racist definition. This definition is not beneficial to Black Hebrew Israelites or anyone. This definition is based off of a notion that Black people could not have been Egyptian because you're not intelligent enough.